back to Learning and Lore. If you're new here, welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the curriculum picks that we have for this year. This year I'm going to be teaching 3rd and 4th grade for an 8 and 9-year-old. So stay tuned. Here I'm trying out a new curriculum called Build Your Library by Emily Cook, and we're going to be doing level 2, which is medieval times. And if you've seen my video explaining what we did over the summer, I'll link that at the top in case you haven't seen it. Just finished Story of the World Ancient Times, so we're going to be moving into the second book, which is medieval times. And I was so happy when I came across Emily's curriculum because it incorporated Story of the World and some subjects. Now this is going to be a 2-part series, so this is video 1, and in this video I'm going to be going over what we're using for history, for literature, music, art, science, and copywork, and a few other things that she does in Build Your Library. And then in video 2, which I'll link up top, I'm going to be showing what we're using for our core subjects. So reading, writing, math, and all that jazz. So right now I have these 2 bookshelves that are devoted to Build Your Library. I have our reference books, which is the Kingfisher History Encyclopedia, which we used for ancient times. This is the recommended encyclopedia for BYL, or Build Your Library. It's the Osborne Internet Linked World Encyclopedia, and I bought this one used on Amazon. Then we have Story of the World, the Middle Ages, and these are our spines, or reference, what I call them. And then over here we have some books that didn't fit in the bins. This is part of our literature or scheduled read alouds. Then we have some books, read aloud books. This is an extra book that I picked up. And then over here we have our science selections. This is the cursive that we're doing that I'm going to be including in the next video. And then over here I have art. Here I have some bonus things that I decided to incorporate for math. And this is our literature bin. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the manual now, see how I have it organized. The Build Your Library Level 2, the Medieval World, and it says here Level 2, and it also has a grade range, grade 2, ages 7 to 11. But this material is very thorough, so we're not really following the grade recommendations. So it's a printable curriculum that you can get from her website. It isn't an actual manual that you get, but I found it very easy to print out, and I labeled everything by week. And then the first half of the year is in blue, the second half of the year is in yellow. So once you open it up, you have a table of contents, there's a book list, and I went ahead and I put in the Story of the World activity book that I got in here as well, and I added it throughout. So to give you an idea, I'll show you 1 week. This is week 2, and we're actually not starting on this day. I was just kind of planning and toying around with things, but we're going to be starting the last week of September. So to give you an idea, I have history, which is about 3 days out of the week. Then we have medieval tales, poetry, literature, science, art, language arts, and math. The science is 3 days out of the week, and I went ahead and I supplemented, and I ordered something that's going to be complementing the science because my children are on the older end of the spectrum, so that's how I'm doing that. And I really like the science recommendations that she has, but this is just a little bit more meat to add to the curriculum. And then we have here the day breakdown, just to show you what it's like. It has the copywork, and I actually printed off all the copywork, and I have that all bound up for them. So now I'm going to show you their workbooks. So I went ahead and I printed out all the copywork. This is in one of the groups on Facebook, and if you're interested in seeing what that group is, I can go ahead and link that. Just let me know. And there's a few different options. They have cursive, they have print work. So I went ahead and I chose print because that's what my kids are comfortable with right now. And then we're doing something else for cursive. And then right here we have the activity mapping pages that go with Build Your Library. And then there's also some science printouts. And then I also printed off all of the Story of the World printouts. So I'm going to be using a combination of both. So that's what this looks like. And there's some game cards and things. So I'm really excited about this. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you all of the books that we got for Build Your Library that we're going to be using. The other spine books. We have Medieval Tales that kids can read and tell by Lorna McDonald. Then we have the Random House Book of Fairy Tales. That's also a spine. The Child's Introduction to Poetry. Now, I start off with these books, but I add more. So right now I'm thinking about adding the Introduction to the Orchestra. So that's one that I might add later on. And if I do add anything extra, I'll have a video towards the end of the year showing you what that is. Then we have Muhammad by Demi. Odd and the Frost Giants by Chris Riddell. Castle Diary, The Journal of Tobias Burgess by Richard Platt. A Medieval Feast by Aliki. The Kitchen Knight, retold by Margaret Hodges. Castle by David Macaulay, and this is a Caldecott honor. The Making of a Knight by Patrick O'Brien. Genghis Khan, the Brave Warrior Who Bridged East and West. Joan of Arc by Diane Stanley. Bard of Avon, The Story of William Shakespeare. St. George and the Dragon. Encounter by Jane Yolen. Roanoke, the Lost Colony, an Unsolved Mystery from History, also by Jane Yolen. And this is an Aesop's Fables for young readers. We read Aesop's Fables sometime in first grade. So we do have that reference point, but I found this, so I might have my fourth grader read these and then do the reading comprehension and things from the back. And this is by Becca, and I got this from a homeschool mom a few years ago. So these are all the recommended books for Build Your Library. And what I do is I get everything that I can. I use thrift books, use curriculum sales. So that's how I do that. And I find it to just be easier versus getting the books through the library and incurring late fees and things like that. So do resell these at the end of the year. So if you're interested in using this curriculum for the following year, you can look out for that end of the year video, and I'll probably post a link to all of these. So now I'm going to show you our science curriculum books. I realized that I forgot to mention these. These aren't in the Build Your Library curriculum, but I found this at a thrift store and it was brand new, and it's the Dragonology, the Complete Book of Dragons. And since we're going to be studying medieval times, this is a topic that I thought my son would really looking into it, as well as my daughter. So I'm excited to show them this book once we hit that period, or when questions start to arise. And then these are two books that we're going to be reading from. Shakespeare Stories, illustrated by Michael Foreman, and it's black and white. So I'm hoping that this will work out. If not, I do have another set of Shakespeare storybooks that I saw on Amazon that my kids might enjoy. So I'm going to play it by ear and try these out first, since these are the ones that are recommended by Build Your Library. But I do have a few other things in mind in case these don't appeal to them. And we'll probably hang on to these just for reference for the later years. So that is that. So now I'm gonna do the science. First book is I, Galileo by Bonnie Christensen. This is not a BYL book, but this is actually from another curriculum that we haven't tried yet, but we've hung on to. So I'm going to be repurposing this one. Then as a spine for science for BYL is First Space Encyclopedia by DK, a reference guide to our galaxy and beyond. And we're going to be doing this book first. And I love that it mimics the Sassafras Science books that we were using before. And it seems like it's in the same format. So I think my kids would really enjoy this. And I'll link that science curriculum up top in case you're interested in seeing how it's similar if you're moving from that curriculum to maybe something else. So that is one encyclopedia. Then we have this second one for the second half of the year, First Earth Encyclopedia. And that's what that looks like. Then we have the geography book by Carolyn Arnold. And I'm not sure. I think this is dispersed throughout, so that's what that looks like. And then we have 13 Planets, the latest view of the solar system by David A. Aguilar. And what I did was, if you can see at the very bottom, I wrote when I'll need these books by, what week. So I'm hoping that'll help me. And I put them in order as well. Mission to Pluto, the first visit to an ice dwarf and the Kuiper Belt. And my kids are a little wild right now because Dad just got home. So if you hear noise, that's what that is. So that's that one. And the kids are really interested in learning more about Pluto. So we were excited to get that one. Then we have Jump into Science, Rocks and Minerals by Steve Tomasek. And this is a National Geographic Kids book. And if you saw summer reading list video that I posted, I'll link that up top. I went over the National Geographic Kids magazine subscription briefly that we are doing. So if you're interested in seeing that, you can go ahead and look at that. Then we have Buzz Aldrin, Reaching for the Moon by, let's see, paintings by Wendell Miner. Astronaut Living in Space by Kate Hayden. And I'm hoping that my son will read this aloud to me. Then we have Space Heroes, Amazing Astronauts. And here's another one that I'm hoping that he'll read aloud to me. Almost Astronauts, 13 Women Who Dare to Dream. I'm so excited about this book, especially role models in space. And we'll probably watch some videos too, like Hidden Figures and things like that to cover that. So I'm really excited about this one. Then we have Space, I Wonder. And I have a ton of space and moon books from when we did kindergarten. So I'll do another video and I'll link it up. Deserts by Gail Gibson. And then we have a ton of One Small Square books. Let me get them all. We have Swamp, The Night Sky, and most of these are recommended but not required. And I just got them because they look so nice, and I know my kids are just gonna love looking through these and reading these. Tropical Rainforest, The African Savannah, and these are all by Donald M. Silver. And we have Arctic Tundra and Cave. And then this is the science curriculum that we're adding on, is Real Science for Kids Astronomy. This is a used copy by Rebecca W. Keller. And like I said, we're moving from Sassafras Science to astronomy. And right now, Sassafras Science doesn't have their astronomy curriculum or their chapter book out yet. So, but I found that this mimics the really light reading, and I love that it has little comics throughout. So, and it seems like a very light read that we can add in on the days that we're not doing the BYL science. I have Midnight on the Moon by Mary Pope Osborne, and after my son reads those other easy readers, I'm hoping that he'll be able to read this independently. And there are some science books that go with this, so we'll see. He's my reluctant reader, and right now he's doing All About Reading that I'll be mentioning and going over in the part 2 video of this post. So, oh, and I almost forgot one. This is Oceans by Seymour Simon. So that is science. Move on to literature. I just wanted to give you a quick look through Story of the World, Middle Ages, and it actually starts with a bit of Roman history. Ancients finished with Roman history, and then it goes all the way till Empires Collide, so Spain and England's war. So that is what that covers. Now for literature, I have The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White, and we're going to be doing some copy work from all of these literature selections. So we're going to be doing these together, family time, and this is week 1. As you can see, it's marked. Then we have The Silver Balloon, which we start week 9. And then Ida B on week 5. And I'm so excited about this one because it's a homeschooler story. So I'm really excited about that one. Then we have Wish Tree by Catherine Applegate. Knight's Castle by Edgar Eger. Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. Mad Wolf's Daughter. The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, and I actually bought 2 of these copies. But I think it's going to make it easier if there's some periods where my kids want to do reading with mom and dad separately. So, and this one has illustrations, which I found surprising. So, and this one doesn't. So we'll see which one they prefer. And they were both cheap enough. And then we have The Apprentice by Pilar Molina. And then this was a summer reading, Mensa summer reading list book that I felt went better with what we're doing in the fall. So I just added it to our stack. And it's The Reluctant Dragon by Ernest H. Shepard. And then Kate DiCamillo. I like getting multiple books by the same author. That way my kids get to know their works. So this is Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo. And then there's also a movie out. So we're planning to watch that as a family. The Shakespeare Stealer by Gary Blackwood. And then lastly, we have The Castle Corona by Sharon Creech. And now for grammar, we were doing first language lessons, and we're going to try to do as much as we can fall and winter. And then I think at some point over the spring and summer, we're going to be doing this as our light grammar curriculum, the Dragon Grammar book. And this is by Diane May Robinson. So, and it goes, she actually has a bunch of chapter books called Sir Princess Petra. And this is not in the Build Your Library curriculum. This is just something that I found that I thought just went really well with what we're doing. And she has all of these little chapter books that I think my kids will really enjoy reading. And then it's very Charlotte Mason inspired because you're learning grammar by using the literature that you're reading in her books. And I love that it's the actual author teaching grammar versus more of a technical manual. So I'm really excited about this one, and I will give you guys a final review at the end. So that is literature and grammar. Next, I'm going to show you art. Build Your Library, we're using the art book, the Renaissance art book by Wenda O'Reilly. And I'm so excited that I was able to find all of these books because it's going to make my life so much easier versus trying to hunt them down throughout the year. And we're doing a co-op, and we do various different activities and field trips. So it makes it more open and go for me. This is Leonardo da Vinci. Then this is by Marianne Cole. And then this one was the most appealing to my kids. When we saw all these books come in, they were really excited about this book. Why is Art Full of Naked People by Susie Hodge. And then we have The Child's Interactive Story of Art by the National Gallery. And it goes through the different periods. So I'm excited about that one. And I am considering maybe adding a video art curriculum if I feel like my kids want more in-depth info or more projects, but I'm gonna play it by ear at this point. If I do add it, I'll add it to the end of year video. As you saw in Story of the World, we're going to be touching upon a little bit of Roman history again. So I found this really nice picture book that goes over Roman numerals, and this is not a part of Build Your Library, but it just goes nicely, so I'm adding these in. And then for math, we're doing math lessons for living education, but I really liked all of these books that really tie in medieval times and make it more of a living books sort of math. So we're going to be using this in addition to that, and you can see the math in part 2. So this is Multiplying Menace, The Revenge of Rumpelstiltskin, Multiplying Menace Divides, Circumference, and the First Round Table by Cindy Nushwander. And this is what that looks like. So I'm so excited about that. And we do have some field trips planned. We're planning to see the New York Renaissance Fair. We're planning to go to medieval times and do a few things, and also looking up some exhibits. So as we do those field trips, I'll probably post that as a video or share it on my Instagram. Then we have Circumference and the Dragon of Pi. Circumference and the Great Knight of Angleland. Same author. Circumference and the Sword in the Cone. So learning about geometric shapes. Circumference and the Isle of Emeter. I hope I'm saying that right. circumference in all the king's tens, so place value, circumference in the roundabout battle, circumference and the off the charts desserts. This one's going to be fun, and maybe we can make some pies this day that we read this. Circumference in the fraction fair, circumference and Vikings map reading skills. And that is all of the Build Your Library that we have. So stay tuned for part 2 next week. I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough of the core curriculum that we're going to be using this year for history and science. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a message below. And stay tuned for part 2 of this video, where I'm going to be showing you the reading, writing, and math and other things that we're going to be doing this year. I'm also going to be posting a video showing you the extracurricular activities that we're signed up for this year, and also another video talking about what we're including in our book basket upstairs related to space. We back in kindergarten, we did a space unit and a moon unit, so I'm going to bring those books out and I'm going to have them laying around so the kids can read them independently. So if you're not subscribed yet, please do. I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you so much for listening and watching today. If you're not following me on Instagram and Facebook, please do so, because I share a lot of snippets of our life, and that way you can get to know us more, and hopefully we can meet you there too. So I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.